Alright, hello everyone, this is a friendly internet basilisk, and now that we're done talking about the 2024 PHB, I want to take a step back and look at what I would argue is the best supplement for D&D 2014 that nobody wants to talk about. And I'm talking about, of course, Xanathar's Guide to Everything. This, I would say, was the best 2014 supplement that we ever got, and unfortunately, there had been no other supplements that even came close. I'm talking about you, Tasha's Guide. Didn't come close. And there's a lot of good things I can say about this because I've used this book very, very extensively. It had something for both players and DMs alike that didn't feel like it was breaking the balance of the game, but it still felt like there was something fun for you to use. So, without further ado, let me just go over all the pros that I've found moving forward with this. So, first thing is that I know back then we had a lot of like broken character builds and other crazy stuff like that, but in my experience, the subclasses from Xanathar's Guide have been the most well balanced and still usable in today's standards for in comparison to all the other subclasses. Now, you can obviously they're obviously a step up from the PHB subclasses, the 2014 PHB subclasses. But for most part, there's a bit of a steady progression in there where the subclasses feel like they're new, but they weren't trying to step on the toes of the 2014 PHB. There is a little, slight power creep in there, but it's not something that was reasonably too severe until we got to all the way to Tasha's Guide. The next part about it is that there is a section there called "This Is Your Life," where if you wanted to delve deeper into your character's backstory, you can do that. There are a lot of random tables in there that will allow you to roll and see what actually happened to your character, and will help if you have a player that really wants to flesh out their backstory a bit more. That's as much as we have for players on the player side, but for the dungeon master side, you get a lot of good stuff. First thing, they have tools and applications for what you can do with them. There are a lot of sample DCs for every single tool, so it doesn't feel like the tool proficiencies that you pick for your character are completely useless. They have some level of applications to them, and so this book just outlines all of them in really good detail as well. I also think Xanathar's Guide, it's really one of my first few forays to some basic encounter building. There is some very easy monster math in there that could be followed. Now, I know because player characters got way stronger towards the end of the 2014 life cycle, that the monster math probably isn't going to line up as much, but in my opinion, it's still a good tool for DMs to try to start balancing this out. And this book came out close to 10 years ago, so it's still pretty damn good. Well, not 10 years ago. The next thing is that this is also one of the first few books that I've seen that has random encounter tables that are separated based off of the environment that you're in. Very, very helpful if you want to just grab a random encounter off of a book. As a note, most if not all the creatures in those random encounter tables will be limited only to stuff from the 2014 monster manual. So there is that, but still, at least they tried. There's better traps here. I'd say that traps are better handled here than the 2014 DMG and even the 2024 DMG. There's guidelines to them. There's even experience that you get from complex traps. So there's really different ways that you can run this. My absolute favorite part of Xanathar's Guide, though, is the downtime. This is the time that players take away when they're not adventuring. and they're just trying to relax or trying to do an honest trade or even just like trying to commit crime or even buying magical items. This has been my go-to template for any sort of downtime activities that you do in D&D. And I love this section because there's just like so many downtime opportunities. There's like so many choices that you can do for downtime. Every single type of character, whether you're using like a scholarly wizard or even if you're just like a fighter and you want to get something out of your downtime, well, here it is. This is also the book that introduced common magical items. I'm very glad for common magical items because most of them have no actual real combat edge that they give you. They're mostly there for flavor, and I actually enjoy like magical items like that because it helps. It's more of how does a player apply this magical item within the situation that they are given. And so there's also magical item tables here that you can use. There's just a lot of good stuff. The spells that they've also like put together and introduced now, the spells that they give you in Xanathar's Guide is a collection from I think some other source books as well as some new source books, and it's just become a very nice repository of those spells. So you don't have to like lug those other ones. Like for example, the spells from the Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide has been moved over to Xanathar's Guide. So it's very good. Now, the last thing that I will say I really like about Xanathar's Guide are the name tables in the back. Very, very good for generating any sort of names that you want to. There's ones for different nationalities, but there's also some for the different species that you're going to have. If you're going to have like a male of that species or a female of that species, they have nicely like separated those out. And so to conclude this, me just gushing over this book again, this is the high point of all the supplements when it comes to Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. Easily the best one because it had something for everybody. It elevated the game in ways that hasn't been, and this is the gold standard for any sort of supplements that we're ever going to get. So anything else that has come out after this just could not compare. So hopefully for 2024 Dungeons and Dragons, I really hope they have some sort of equivalent to Xanathar's Guide, because otherwise I'm going to be very, very disappointed, and I might not even move forward with any of the other books. So hopefully in the future I'll do more videos on other books, but I'm going to start doing some for other tabletop RPG concepts. So with that, I'll see you guys later.